By Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
And welcome into Inside Arkansas Live here on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. I'm your host, John Neighbors, alongside Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis, and appreciate each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon. Happy Tuesday to everybody out there. Guys, how are we feeling on a Tuesday? I know, is this the day that you say, Curtis, that is the worst for you? Is it Tuesdays?
It's usually Wednesday.
Okay.
Like I've had better days, but I can tell you this, I'm having a better day than Hugh Freeze. So there you go.
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't seen anybody respond positively to the Hugh Freeze thing, including Auburn fans.
Facts.
So yeah, I look forward to talking about that a little bit. But yeah, John, I always have been saying that I think Tuesday is like slick the worst day of the week. I think it's PR. It saves it a little bit. Like Monday always gets the bad rap, but I actually don't think Monday's that bad of a day. I think Tuesday is the clear number 7 in the power rankings.
Well, at least in our scheduling, usually Mondays are the things that we have the most to talk about, and then it's kind of like the hot fire that burns hot, and then suddenly it starts to filter out a little bit. But thankfully, Hugh Freeze came in the clutch for some great content, which I know we are going to talk about because I'm sure a lot of you want to as well. So if you want to hop into the chats, we'll try to get to those as much as possible, and we will also, of course, be getting to some of your phone calls. For those of you who want to call in, 478-344-6623 is the number to call in, or 478-34 I'm mad, because I'm sure a lot of you are going to be mad about that. But we'll get into that. We'll do some buy or sell later in the show too. Talk a little bit about Texas A&M and keep it moving on. So we'll just start with the elephant in the room, as they say, with Hugh Freeze. Now, honestly, I'm sure you guys felt the same way. We were at the Leroy last night for our live stream, which was awesome, by the way, if you missed out on it. But we were sitting there and, we're just chatting it up, talking about the Razorbacks and whatnot. Suddenly our chat starts blowing up about, hey, you guys talked about Hugh Freeze's comments? I was like, from Saturday's game? Yeah, sure. Just a couple days ago. And then it just blew up and we were kind of in the dark. And then we went and saw the quote and, man, it really took the place by storm. So we just talked about it, but let's actually hear it from Hugh Freeze himself and what he had to say that got everybody fired up.
And those are the truths of the game. And yeah, and it's the truth for me too. Because we've got to get them to where the winning ways are happening on those critical downs. I mean, no offense whatsoever to Arkansas or to Cal. I love Sam Pittman. I hope he wins the rest of his games. But I'm telling you, the hard truth is we play them 9 more times, we beat them 9 times. And that's what's hard to take. And it's hard for our fans, I'm sure, and it's certainly hard for us. And you have 460-something yards, and we only had 50-something plays of offense because we turned it over 5 times. And it's just it's frustrating.
This guy.
Okay, man. What are you doing? The hard truth is you're an idiot.
Yep.
Like, why would the lack of awareness there? What's hard to take is this L that Arkansas handed you. Come on, dude. That's just, I get it. Like being on your, like your propaganda radio show, like he's probably at their version of the catfish hole or something. I don't know. Having that conversation. There are ways to promote your program and, show confidence in your team without sounding like a moron. Anytime you start a sentence with no disrespect, you're getting ready to disrespect somebody. That's exactly what he did. I get it. Auburn could have played better. They could have not turned it over 5 times. They could have recruited a better quarterback. They could have done a lot of things, but they didn't. And to say that if you played them 9 more times, you beat them 9 times, that's just a dumbass statement, man. It's every time I hear it, I get mad all over again.
It's crazy. And look, we don't even have to sell Arkansas fans on why it's stupid. I'm going to just touch on, though, he said 460 yards of offense, which, one, they did not have. They had about 414, I believe, was the final total. So he gave himself about 50 yards while also ignoring that 65 of those yards came on the final possession where it was a garbage time. Nobody was doing anything. Time literally expired as they completed a 30-yard pass. So really, it was a lot closer to about 315 than it was to the 460 he cited as like, oh, we have all this total offense. We're just moving up and down the field. And also for a guy that's trying to, he's going to have to answer a lot of tough questions here this year because the pressure is going to start to mount on him. publicly saying like, oh yeah, we just lost that game, even though we should have won it 9 times out of 10. You're the head coach. So it's like, who are you trying to blame for that? And I know he's going to try and blame his quarterbacks, which he's already done once, but it's like, I don't know if that's necessarily the best PR way to go about it, of like, oh yeah, we just lost a game we were supposed to win, but I'm totally a great head coach, and I'm totally not an idiot, and I totally didn't call those strippers and bring them on campus at Ole Miss. Like, I don't know. It just seems really stupid. And, look, I think it's one of those things. He was talking reckless, not realizing that quote was going to go viral, but I don't know. Don't say stupid stuff and expect people not to react to it.
Well, and I love it because Kingsley's already said in the chat, because he's going to borrow my term, but it is clown shoes. Like it's like Hugh Freeze is clown shoes in making this type of statement. And I took issue, or at least I could see someone or anybody taking issue with anything he said. But the phrase that he used that really sent it over the edge, and you brought it up, Curtis, is the term or the phrase hard truth.
God, that's what that set me off, man.
That, because it's one thing to say, hey, you know what? If we play Arkansas 9 more times, I believe we beat them all 9 times. That's fine. That's fine to say. It may have been a little bit suspect if you just came out and said, hey, if we play that team 9 times, we beat them, like emphatically like that. Okay. But when you're coming out and saying not the truth, the hard truth, as in emphatic, no questions asked, no doubt, nothing, no even conversation or any sort of opinion can be thrown around. This Auburn team beats Arkansas 9 more times, no ifs, ands, buts about it. That to me is what is the most asinine part of this entire comment that he made. Because listen, he's a good coach. He's had success, and I know he's struggling at Auburn, but I just don't understand what the point of saying something like that. And boy, if they need some Razorback fans to rally around Sam Pittman, this might be the way to do it, because people are like, it's a clown shoes comment that didn't need to be said. And the fact that he said hard truth, that's what I just can't get over, is the hard truth of the matter. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you nailed it at the end there, man. The best thing that's happened to Sam Pittman all year is Hugh Freeze being a moron. So thanks for that, because yeah, people are rallying around the head coach now. The chat was popping off before we even started the show about, man, I really hope things go well this year, because I'd love to see, Sam and Bobby in year 2 and T Will back. And, so this is great PR for Sam Pittman. I just wish that he wasn't such a good guy, and that they would have put it in the end zone late in that game when they had the opportunity to make the ass whooping look worse than it was. That's crazy, man. Like, it's one thing you could have said, boy, we wish we would have had that one back.
Yep.
Or man, I feel like if we played him again, we'd have every opportunity to win the game. But yeah, to go on that little soapbox there was just unreal. I cannot believe that.
I mean, you talk about, good PR for Sam Pittman. Well, I'm about to add to it here, because Sam Pittman has said a lot of stupid stuff after games, and specifically after losses, that have angered Arkansas fans and kind of left us scratching our heads at, wait, why would he say that? But the one thing he doesn't do is this move, the whole like, oh, that team sucks and we should have beaten them 10 times. We easily should have beat that team. Like, we had no business losing to that team. He never does that. He always goes the exact opposite, where he tries to prop up the other team. You know why? Because Sam Pittman's a good dude. Like, he's not an idiot. He's not one of those guys who's going to try and put down his opponent to try and make himself feel better, or anything like that. You see players sometimes do that, where they're like, oh yeah, that team had no business beating us or whatever. But Pittman understands it, where he would never say something that drastic of like, oh yeah, 9 times out of 10. Like, it's college football. These games are won and lost on these big plays. Realistically, like, I think you would need to do some convincing to tell me that those were 2 even teams, frankly, considering that Arkansas won by 10 at their place. But even if you did somehow convince me that those 2 teams are dead even, which, to be honest, I don't think they are, even then you wouldn't say 9 times out of 10. Like, it's just very weird. And it just speaks of a guy who's grasping at straws, who kind of knows he's in a tough spot, and is just saying stuff. I mean, he's just saying stuff. And I mean, you can't trust a dude for his word when he's a Bible thumping weirdo who clearly has skeletons in the closet that does all this stuff. So it's like, I mean, I don't know, man. I just cannot think of a dumber move when you already have your fan base starting to get heated up, starting to get riled up. I don't see this ending well for him. And I mean, obviously there's plenty of time left. He's in year 2 of his tenure. I'm sure they're going to make some improvements and be better. But man, this is in terms of just heating up the scale a little bit, man, it's going to be an interesting rest of the year in Auburn.
Shout out to Hunter Yurachek, and shout out to the Arkansas football Twitter account, which sometimes has some bangers, and other times they leave a lot to be desired. But their tweet a little bit earlier this morning was fantastic. I'm glad that they were, there's something to be said for taking the high road, I think sometimes, but with the position Arkansas football is in right now, you got to give a little bit back. Yeah, there we go, John. Mm-hmm. Nice work.
Yeah. Well, let the Twitter account not take the high road. You can, like, Sam Pittman will take the high road as he always does. But yeah, let the social media intern not take the high road.
Sam Pittman is the guy who he'll lie to open every post-game press conference. Like, I want to congratulate UAPB. They got a fantastic team. They really challenged us tonight, because that's just what you're supposed to say. Right. It's the politically correct move, and not everybody operates that way. So, hey, when they go low with them. Screw it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's how I feel about it too, where it's seeing the fan reaction. And I know we'll get to some of your calls in your chats, because a lot of people have reactions to this, but to see the amount of Razorback fans that are just like, standing beside Sam Pittman and behind him being like, hey, you can't say that about our coach. Only we can say that about our coach, type of thing. Like it's a great thing for the fans. And, I can't wait until the SEC teleconference tomorrow. I'm sure Sam Pittman's going to be asked about it, and I'm sure he's going to have some canned response. But just to be honest, fellas, I think what Sam Pittman's going to do is exactly what Andrew has been talking about. He's going to take the high road, just be like, I didn't pay attention to any of that, or I'm focused on Texas A&M. They got a good team. He's just going to do that. But behind closed doors, I wonder how he felt about that and hearing about that. It's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, it is.
But ultimately, Sam Pittman has respect for these other coaches. He has respect for college football and just how hard it is to win in this league and in this, in this sport. Really, it's a dangerous game. And so, I think there's a mutual respect between all the coaches and players for the most part. And so I think that's why Sam Pittman would never publicly take these kind of shots and do all this, because he's not going to try and discredit another team's win, even if it came at his expense. And that's exactly what Hugh Freeze was attempting to do. And I think for the people, the unfortunate part for Hugh Freeze is that we all watched the game. You can't lie to us and just be like, oh no, you don't watch the game. But trust me, guys, we had them beat. We had them beat if we played better. It's like, I don't know, man.
Yeah. Well, I saw somebody in the chat say that Sam Pittman replied to a tweet, and I was like, man, I haven't seen Sam Pittman tweet at all. And I just looked it up. This was 17 minutes ago. It wasn't anything crazy, but it was just a guy said, if Sam Pittman has 1 million fans, I am one of them. If Sam Pittman has 100 fans, I'll be one of them. If Sam Pittman has 5 fans, I'll be one of them. If Sam Pittman has no fans, then I'm dead. And Sam Pittman just responded with, "Go Hogs."
Meme, by the way.
Yeah.
You know what that means? That means Sam Pittman is online.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Sam Pittman's online.
Yeah, his green status of available is on right now.
I'm going to
for the Twitter machines.
The inverse of that. I'm going to say, if Hugh Freeze has a million haters, I am one of them. If he has 1,000, I'm one of them. If he has no haters, then I'm dead.
And then if Sam Pittman responds to that saying "Go Hogs," it'll be the greatest thing ever.
God, that would be so funny if he did that.
Yeah, I don't think he will, but still, it's fun to dream. But again, and it's going back to the Hugh Freeze thing. I'm sure he'll have a response, maybe he'll put out something. Maybe he'll be asked about in the teleconference or whatever. But it's just weird how, I'm trying to get too much into it, but what was he trying to accomplish? Was it something that he's trying to get people on his side? Is he trying to get his fans back on his side? Is he just trying to justify in his own mind of oh yeah, that was such an embarrassing loss because we beat that team every single. I just don't understand what the point of that was, knowing in this day and age that everything's going to be out there for everyone to see. What was he trying to prove or accomplish with a comment like that?
I don't know, but in 2 weeks they both have a bye, so they could just run it back. Just run it back.
I'd pay tickets for it.
I would take my chances sending Arkansas back to Jordan Hare to play that game again, and I bet the outcome would be no different. Aside from Arkansas would beat them worse, because. Here's the thing. People can say Auburn played a bad game and Arkansas didn't play their best game. Here's the thing about it, though. We have seen a better version of Arkansas already this season. We have not seen a better version of Auburn this season. They are what they are, which is a freaking mess.
Yeah, and Curtis, it comes in. It's not like one of those things where we wouldn't be doing this to Sam Pittman, because when Sam Pittman tries to do the thing of like, oh, well, we lost that game, but we just couldn't get up because it's 11 a.m. or whatever, we don't buy those excuses when he does that whole thing of like, oh, no, we would have gotten up for that game, but it's quick turnaround or whatever. Like, we never buy those excuses. And so I always say, like, when you have 12 games, it's really hard for me to buy any excuse of like, oh, we just didn't play to our standard because of blank. And so it's not one of those things where we're just being unfair to an opposing head coach. Like because what you're trying to say, Hugh Freeze, is we just played our worst game of the year, despite the fact that we were coming off of a loss against Cal. That was also, I guess, our worst loss of the year. And we couldn't band together and play well against Arkansas in the freaking SEC opener. I don't know. I just don't think that's a good stance to have out there of like, oh yeah, I mean, we're a good team. We just lost to Arkansas and Cal at home. Like, I don't know. It just is crazy. Like, I agree with you guys where it's like, I don't know what he was going for.
Yeah. Well, and I also laugh too, because it's like, imagine if anybody could have said it, and we would have criticized it 100%. But like, if Sam Pittman would have came out after the Oklahoma State game and said the same thing, it would have been critical. But at least with that one, I would have even bought more, because
it would have been as crazy.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been as
had the yardage.
Yeah, they had the yardage. They had the lead, because Auburn never had the lead in this game. Like, Arkansas had a double-digit lead. They had all that. So even Sam Pittman, and how many of those games have Sam Pittman had where he could have come out and said,
Right.
Good, yeah, 9 more times. We win 9 more times.
And Sam Pittman has addressed that, and he's done it the right way. It's like after the game the other night, he said, hey, we're 3-1, lost in double overtime at Oklahoma State. Lord knows we had our chances, but we're 1-0 in the SEC, and that's as good as it gets. Great.
Man, that's all it takes.
Gosh, man.
This is going to be
I have a newfound respect for the way that Sam Pittman handles losses, because what he does is he takes it on the chin, and I think he honestly takes it on the chin too much, where he's just like, oh yeah, we just couldn't get it done. We just couldn't do it. I thought we were going to win. We didn't win. And he does that. And it's like a little like Eeyore, like a little like woe is me. But he doesn't sit there and be like, well, we would have won. We just didn't play. You know, we beat him. We'll beat him next time we play. Like, he doesn't do stupid stuff like this. He honestly just accepts the defeat a little too much.
Yes.
This is a different level of cope that I didn't think an SEC coach would do in week 4.
Well, this is going to be a show dedicated to hating on Hugh Freeze. So if you want to hate on Hugh Freeze, by all means, get in the chat or call in. Because I also want to play this clip too. This is actually before all this came out. But it was actually Lane Kiffin. You know, Lane. Got to love old Lane. Take a little, as they call it, back shots, if you will. Subtle, but about Hugh Freeze in his press conference yesterday.
It's that relationship. I just think from on the field, there's a trust level there of, you know, we spend a lot of time with him and then let him play too on Saturdays. And I just think that, you know, like you said, you know, it started one way. I think that, you know, you build that, especially for a guy that we didn't really recruit out of high school, any of that, didn't have a previous relationship. And I think it pays off, you know, when you have relationships and the quarterbacks trust you too, you know, and go back to Matt Corral when he threw 6 interceptions, and before I even got to the media, sitting down with him, telling him, you know, we got to do a better job calling plays. I got to coach better, and don't worry, we got your back. And so I think that goes a long ways, and goes a long ways with kids in recruiting, you know, of knowing what they're going to get when they get here from a relationship, and that they can trust us to have their back.
Wonder if there was any issue about like Matt Corral or any player like that having problems with having a good relationship with their head coach. Has that ever existed?
It's funny that Lane Kiffin did go out and get like a half dozen transfer portal quarterbacks to try to replace Jackson Dart after his first year, but you know, I see what he's saying there.
He did end up sticking with him, and I frankly last year I thought he wouldn't stick with him, and I thought he shouldn't, and it kind of worked out. But yeah, I guess that's Lane knowing he's in a position to kind of say this kind of stuff because he's stuck with Jackson Dart and all that. I also just want to clear up the back shots comment because I see everyone in the chat responded to it.
There is a story behind this.
There's a little bit of an inside joke here where we did a show at Tin Roof during baseball season last year, and Jack Wagner, former DH first baseman who has gone on to go pro in something other than sports, he accused me of saying stuff about him, but he said, yo, Andrew, man, you've been taking back shots at me on Twitter. And I don't know what he meant by that necessarily, but we just ever since then we've been saying back shots of like, oh, you're taking back shots at him, bro. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he meant like behind his back, I'm throwing shots at him, which by the way I wasn't doing. But so we just that term back shots has become like inside Arkansas terminology, and John just mixed it in there, and everybody's like, yo, what back shots? Back shots. That's Lane Kiffin taking back shots at Hugh Freeze.
You could say it's an inside joke on Inside Arkansas. That's what you could say about that. But we have a few of those that you just got to keep up, folks. Just yes, thank you for the structure behind that.
English said full timeout, not the 20. This is, you need a real pause for that.
Yeah, but yes, it was just you could tell that like that's what I love about Lane Kiffin. I used to hate him. I love this guy, and I kind of hate that I love him because he's at Ole Miss. But still, he is so good at being very like monotone and his like this thing. If you didn't hear what he was saying, you just feel like he's just answering another question. But the way he does it in such a way where he's not talking about anyone specifically, but everybody kind of knows what he's talking about. And he does it in a way where he keeps hammering the point home multiple times of him talking about it. It's just, I respect that. I respect somebody who talks for a living. I respect that in a guy.
He is also tremendous on Twitter.
Dude. Yeah.
I mean, he's unreal. And the way
TikTok?
he's been using the and the way he's been using the Juice Kiffin, like the Swish Muscleman Twitter account, like it's been fantastic work. I gave him a lot of credit.
Yeah.
Lane went through a phase where like anytime people would when he was back when he was at FAU, anytime like national media would give FAU props, he would quote tweet it and be like, "No, this is rat poison. Stay away from our program." Like, and it was so funny. Like just when he was at FAU was really when he was really getting off his best tweets because he kind of knew he could. But yeah, Lane Kiffin and Hugh Freeze, those are two of Arkansas's sons, right?
At this point in time, certainly seems that. Because was Hugh 2 and 4? Oh, no, bring that comment back up. I ain't gonna read it. Y'all can read it, but there it is. Yeah,
see it with your own eyes.
Yeah. That was great. All right, let's go to the phone lines, folks. If you want to call in and get your opinion on Hugh Freeze and how much you hate him and rant about him and make jokes like SCT just did in the chat, you can do so at 478-344-6623. Let's go ahead and lead off with Jeremy, who's on the line. What's up, Jeremy? Yeah, 1 second, Jeremy, because I think this is going to be something that I'm going to have to end up doing. I'll tell you what, we're going to put you on hold because that was on me. I'll have to do that. Just stay with us for a second. I swear, technology and me is not doing very well with that, but we'll get some of your chats. I'll get it all fixed up. Don't you worry. So I did like this from Jacob Johnson, though, talking about Scott Fountain is greater than Hugh Freeze now, officially. And
I really enjoyed Nick calling in last night so we could have the Scott Fountain debate with him. That was fun.
A bad week to call in about Scott Fountain because Scott Fountain's on top of the world right now. Yeah, Hugh Freeze couldn't sneak that one by him.
Yeah, which is kind of like crazy when you think about all of that. Like how there's so many players like that get criticized that maybe are unfairly criticized, but then you have a coach that gets criticized a lot that may be a little bit unfairly criticized at time too.
Yeah, Scott Fountain somehow went from under so like to where I thought he was like one of the most hated and like deservedly so to now I'm like, man, it's let's call off the dogs. He's not that bad.
Well, I like Kingsley's comment here saying we need I'm an insider merch for all the real insiders. I'm also down for a real sickos tee or hoodie. You guys
I'm an insider with like just the logo.
Yeah. Yeah, we could probably do something like that. Make that happen for him.
Anything's possible, I've been told.
Yeah. And especially these days and age.
Like Kevin Garnett and Jason Tatum. So.
Yeah. But Jason Tatum, he didn't yell it though as good as
he said something maybe a little different, but
I wish he would have yelled it. That would have because I was a huge fan of when Kevin Garnett did that. So
when Kevin Garnett did it was great. Honestly, LeBron doesn't get enough hate for trying to recreate his own when he did the Cleveland. This is for you, and like it just they weren't even in Cleveland.
Yeah,
a little bit tough.
Who was the guy that who was the player that ended up having the best like post national championship, world championship celebration comment?
Easy, without a doubt, Jameis. We scronged in. I looked at him and I said, "We scronged in." Like that. That was good stuff.
Yeah, Okay, that's true. That's true. Yeah, that'll win. And by the way, yeah, the phone lines. Yes, I'm running the phone lines. Everybody's always like, "Who let John run the phone lines?" How about the guy who's worked in sports talk radio for 10 years?
Let
I
me
still
tell you
can't
something.
figure it out.
If you guys are saying John is 0 for 4 against the phone lines, I don't want to know what my record would be. So we're gonna leave him to it.
And let's say the as they call them board ops, I believe is what they
Also,
used
it's
to.
not we've had several folks call in.
Yeah,
We had a great. Someone was asking. We had Nick Lou. We had to talk him off the ledge about Scott Fountain. That was it was good stuff.
It's good for him. Therapeutic.
Absolutely. And also, some of these comments I wish I could bring up. But this comes from Bill. He says, going to enjoy Freeze whine and squirm during his post-game pressers for the rest of the season because they have losses coming. Yeah, I think that's also kind of the thing for Hugh Freeze and why this is a bad look for him. Because I'm like, dude, you're not going to be a good team this year, so you're not going to have very many redemption arcs that's going to be happening for you.
No.
Let's talk about this Auburn schedule real quick. So they got Oklahoma at home this week. They lose that one?
Yes.
Yeah, I say so right now. Yeah, I take Oklahoma.
At Georgia?
Is that in question?
Yeah, I mean,
So
yeah, we
they're
all
2
know
and
that.
4. At Missouri?
They're losing that one too.
At Kentucky?
I mean, they're probably. I mean,
That's
They
gonna be a
probably
tough
losing
one.
that too. Yeah,
And say they won't be
Vanderbilt
favored in
at
it.
home.
they'll get them.
ULM at home.
I mean,
So if they beat Vanderbilt, let's say they beat Kentucky, Vanderbilt, and ULM, that would make them 5-5. Then they have A&M and at Alabama to finish the year. I don't know, man. I think there's a path to a bowl game, but they're gonna have to like nut up and like really dig deep after that bye week because it's after the bye week. Then they go Missouri and all that. They're gonna have to really lock in.
they're going 4-8.
I think I could be talking to 4-8 before I could be talking to 6-6.
But if they go 4-8, which I agree could end up happening, like how do you bounce back from that? I know the transfer portal and everything, but you don't have good quarterback play. You're going to go what quarterback in the right mind is going to walk into that situation that's like high quality? I mean,
I don't know, but they do have that class. So if they're able to keep that class intact, that would probably be the way they would survive it, or at least like that would be the case for bringing him back. But
The
I don't know,
problem
man.
is, it'll be a top 5 class, and they'll bring him in. It's still going to be a bunch of true freshmen.
Right.
So his thought process of it's all gonna click in year 3. Well, then he's going to be doing we got to let these guys develop, and grow up a little bit. He's not going to have time to get it right.
Also,
And
I'm looking at it now. It's only the number 7 class in the country. Like as of right now, it's number 7, which is obviously like, I mean, nothing to scoff at, but I'm just saying like it's not one of those things where it's a guarantee that they're going to finish top 5, top 10. Like they could end up finishing like 12th or 13th in recruiting, which would be even harder to kind of, make it work.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to be honest. I don't know what's going on the phone lines. I'll try to work on it. So apologize for all you people calling in. Can't have anything nice in these days and age. So, I mean, me and technology, the greatest rivalry in all of college football.
It happens.
Yeah, we'll try to get to you, though. We'll try to make it work. I'll try in a little
The
bit
good thing
here.
is we do these things like going to the Leroy where we have the phone lines. We do the simulation every Thursday night where we have the phone lines open. So
Yeah,
the opportunities.
That's right. Plenty of chances to go out there. But again, if you want in on it, we'll get to the chat too. And also, I need to say this more, Kingsley. Thank you for that. He says, hit that like button, folks. Yeah, hit that like. It helps the algorithm.
Hit that like, keep on going. Leave a comment and subscribe. InsideArkansas.com. That's good stuff.
I was going to let you go. See how long you go for.
I had maximum one more line left in me. I couldn't. I don't know. Wasn't gonna work.
The songbird of our generation.
The syllables were gonna be an issue down the stretch there.
I know we're going to get into
when I
something.
got to ARKA, that whole part.
Yeah. I know we're going to get to something that's a lot more important here in a bit. But what made you decide to start doing the operatic version of the fight song every time that you do it? Like, I've never heard an operatic version until I met you. So what made you decide to do that?
John, I've never thought through a decision before I've made it. Like, not once in my life. And that certainly isn't one of them. you should
Fair
know by
enough.
now. I never like really sit down and think about it. Like, see, should I go like baritone or should I, like, no, it just happens, man.
Yeah. Get you a pitch pipe out there and get the chords right. I get you. No, you're good. That's a good point though. I'll tell you what though, we will get into more of your chats about Hugh Freeze. I know there's going to be plenty of that, but we'll also get into your question of the day presented by Alumni Hall here in Fayetteville, which, by the way, we're going to be there live for Inside Arkansas Live at noon on Thursday. So this Thursday, right there at 3417 North College Avenue, we're going to be hanging out there, just doing the show just like we normally do here. Maybe the phone lines will work there, but we'll be hanging out and telling you about all the great stuff that they have there at Alumni Hall and why it's the ultimate Razorback shopping experience. And come on out there for those of you going to be going down to Arlington. Get you some really great gear for the Razorbacks and stop by Alumni Hall right there, 3417 North College Avenue, and also shop them online at alumnihall.com. So I asked this question on social media, and I want to get everybody's thoughts and y'all's thoughts. It's amazing. We're a third of the way through the season. You're 4 games in, and you're 3-1, which I think everybody would have signed up for, considering the schedule that you had. But as far as good or bad, team, position, individual, whatever it is, what would you say has been the biggest surprise for y'all for the Razorback football season so far?
Yeah, I saw this question right before we went on the show, and I was thinking about it quick, and it was like, dang, I mean, they're 3-1, so you feel really good about where they're at, but I'm trying to think about the most pleasant surprise. Since I'm talking first, I'm just going to steal the obvious one, which is TJ Metcalf. I mean, he's been unbelievable. I definitely thought that he was going to have an increased role, but I don't know that I necessarily thought that he was just going to straight up Wally Pipp Hudson Clark and become one of the best players in the secondary in the SEC. He's been phenomenal and is a huge part of why Arkansas is where they're at now. So I would have to go to him on the good side. But I do think for me, the most surprising thing about this entire season, and maybe I'm overreacting, is just that Luke Hasz doesn't exist. It's baffling to me, and it's always going to be.
Yeah, so I have a few positives that I'll run through real quick. One of the positives I would say is Taylon Green's legs. Like, I think he's a more dynamic, more effective runner that has changed the Arkansas offense in a way that I really didn't expect. Like, I thought Taylon Green would be pretty solid, and so it's like big picture. I'm not like stunned by what he's done, but I think I underrated how dynamic his legs were going to be, and like just how much of a problem it was going to be for opposing defenses. Linebacker been a pretty pleasant surprise, especially if you take into account like how we felt about the group in the spring. Like, I really thought the defense, like Arkansas defensively, was going to have some issues, and so I guess you give T. Will and his group a lot of credit for that, and I think TJ Metcalf, of course, I agree with that statement there. He's a huge surprise. But I got to be honest, there's some negative ones. I'm surprised with the Luke Hasz thing, but I'm also just surprised that Arkansas has such a shortage of pass catching options. Like, I really didn't.
Goodness, yeah.
I didn't view that as a thing that like we'd be talking about in the first month of the season. Is like, hey, can anyone other than Satania or Armstrong catch a pass? Like, I just didn't view this team that way. I actually thought there was a chance Arkansas would go 5 or 6 deep at wide receiver, and we'd feel pretty good about all those guys. And then I don't know. I mean, like, there's no other like big picture surprises necessarily.
I saw somebody that had just a surprise with the run game between Jackson and Taylon Green. That is not a surprise to me necessarily, but I am surprised, I think, at how the carries have shaken out, because I'm surprised that R-Dub, like that entire situation, did not see that coming at all, because like you guys have both mentioned, he's kind of been Mr. Arkansas. He's anti-transfer portal. In the fall, when he was in the media room for the press conference, he's like, listen, this offense is going to be explosive. We're excited. And it's just been a big nothing burger there for a guy that I thought was going to, maybe be getting double-digit or pushing double-digit carries a game.
Yeah, I thought he was the clear number 2 back. I thought I kind of would have been less surprised if Russell and Rodney Hill just weren't a factor at all, frankly. And it was just a 2-man rotation with Taylon running the ball. So, yeah, the Rashad Dubinion thing, like, I definitely, injury played a little bit of a role, seemed like something else played a little bit of a role. So there's reasons for it. But, yeah, if you had told me through 4 weeks that Rashad Dubinion would have whatever it is, like 2 carries on the year and 0 PT, would have been pretty surprised.
Yeah, and I'm going to throw in maybe one that's not like a huge deal, but it is kind of. And that is the fact that Arkansas literally is leading the SEC and is second in the country in first down or third down conversions. And the reason I'm saying that is because I felt like Arkansas, and I don't even know if it was true, but it just felt like Arkansas was one of the worst third down teams over the past few years, not just last season, but over the past few years. And so to see, because I know they have a good clip, but when I look at that number and see that they're converting, and they went down after the Auburn game, but converting 61% of their third downs, and you're talking about in 4 games. To me, that's extremely impressive. A lot of that has to do with Taylor Green and his legs because he's able to take off running when he needs to. But I've been just really pleased with that. And so that's my positive. My negative, and I think this is maybe a more of an obvious one too, is just Landon Jackson just being a non-factor.
I can't believe we hadn't said that yet.
Yeah. Like, to me, he was the one that, like, and Luke Has is a great example too, but Landon Jackson's, he came back. Like, he could have gone to the NFL draft, and I don't know where he would have been drafted, maybe, 5th round, whatever, but still, he was going to get drafted into the NFL, decided to come back, and, he's done a great job of, keeping at it. People talk about his leadership and everything. So I wasn't expecting him to go out and be like Trey Flowers or Drew Sanders, but if you would have told me that he was not going to have one single sack within 4 games of the Razorback football season while staying healthy, because he is healthy, to not have one single sack, not really have any one play of note, that to me, I just wouldn't have bought it all, because going into the season, he was Arkansas's best player. I think everybody would have agreed with that. And he's just, not that he's been terrible. It's not like he's made bad plays. He just hasn't really done anything of note right now. So that's a big surprise to me too.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That's a good one. You mentioned the third downs as a super positive surprise, and I agree 100%. It's crazy how good they are at third and long. You would rather Arkansas be in third and long than third and short, which makes 0 sense, but it just works out for them. But did you know that Arkansas ranks dead last in the SEC in red zone scoring percentage? Dead last. I would not have expected that under Bobby Petrino, especially with kind of the dynamic that Arkansas has with, we talked about Taylor Green's dual threat capabilities, and, you got a bunch of really big, tall receivers that you feel like you can throw the ball to. And then, the Thunder with guys like Jackson and Russell. They are dead last in scoring percentage in the red zone in the SEC.
Kyle Ramsey's contributed to that, I feel like.
He absolutely has. Yes.
Well, there's been a lot of times where they'll get inside the 20 and then go back and then miss a field goal. And so,
yeah, because and when you brought that up, Curse, I was kind of just looking at because you have the game notes, and it's a great little statistical breakdown with whatever opponent they're doing, where they rank in the SEC and where they rank in the country. And I was just looking at it because I felt like last year, there were so many stats that they were double digits in rankings in the SEC across the board. And I would even make the argument that there's at least a good balance where Arkansas is. It seems like there's not in the middle in anything. They're either really good at it or they're really bad at it. Like, they're either 12th through 16 or they're 1 through 5. There's no 6s, 7s, or 8s when it comes to being ranked in the SEC. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, but at least maybe they're consistent in that. Maybe at least you can live up to it. But another thing too, kind of going along with the first downs, again, somewhat of a surprise, not a huge surprise, whatever you want to say. The lack of penalties this team has had is pretty impressive. I mean, they're third in the SEC in fewest penalties per game, which is crazy. They're third in the SEC, but they're 57th in the country. So if you look at it from how I guess a lot of SEC teams are very much penalized compared to the rest, but I think that they've done a really good job in that, and just not killing themselves, because I think it was last year they averaged something like 12, 13 penalties a game. And they haven't done that. Not a lot of
They've
procedural
been all
plays.
over the map. Under Pitman, it hasn't been like consistently bad or good in the penalty department. They literally, and Curtis can attest to this because he used to cover the 5 keys, and I know penalties is always a big one.
Yeah.
They would be like, it'd be like 14 for 140 or 2 for 10. Like it was almost no in between game to game on the penalties.
Man, yeah. So I guess they started the Auburn game with a delay a game. So I was kind of like, oh, geez, here we go. This is going to be one of those games. But
yeah, that was not a good omen to start that one. I was like, oh boy.
Yeah. Something else that Hugh Freeze should get told to be like, hey man, Arkansas started with a delay a game and you still couldn't stop them. Like, come on,
completely forgot about that. That was, yeah. That's tough.
Because I remember tweeting, I was like, well, this is going to be, I just felt like, I was like, this is going to be a banner day. How do you, there's, of all the times you get a delay a game, the first play of the game, 0% reason ever to get a delay a game, ever. But
Yeah,
Arkansas found a way. They sure found a way. So let's see. A few people on Twitter, though, I wanted to read some of the answers and responses to this particular question, which was actually interesting because a former Razorback, ironically enough, responded by the name of Javante Herndon. I'm sure a lot of you remember that name.
Okay.
Yeah. But this question, of course, is just after going through a third of the regular season, what has been the biggest surprise to you by Razorback football? And Javante Herndon said, we should be 4-0. That's his biggest surprise, which is interesting, I guess, in a way to put it. But
By the loss, he says.
Yep. James says how much we miss Cam Little. I think that's a, more of a.
I didn't think it would be. I knew we'd miss him. I didn't know it would be like this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Although I will say, is that surprising?
No, I mean, I wouldn't say it's surprising. It's more like.
I think it's surprising.
You just never really know what you have until it's gone, type of thing,
Yeah,
that's how I feel.
It's been surprising the way it's played out, and the fact that there hasn't been a rotation. It's just been like the Kyle Ramsey show that we didn't expect to see. But I do feel like in the offseason, we kind of knew that kicking was going to be maybe especially in the spring when we were watching those dudes at practice, it was like, oh, this is not going to be a great situation. But I definitely didn't think that we were never going to see Matthew Shipley kick.
Well, yeah, that's kind of where I'm coming from with it. It's like you were never going to replace Cam Little, but you did go out and get a Lou Groza Awards semifinalist. And then he's not your guy and he's not hurt. That is
and
surprising.
the other guy's
to me.
bad too.
And the other guy's not very good. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I see it. Well, you guys missed the whole conversation last night outside of Leroy with Bob Holt. As I was making sure he's going to get home safe. He just went on about the kickers and about how they're not as bad as what people think. Which
he asked about them kickers, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not horrible or anything, but I mean, I don't know. I definitely think it's crazy that Shipley just got kind of got the boot, and not the boot you want when you're a kicker.
Kyle Ramsey ranks dead last among qualifying SEC kickers in percentage, 55.6%.
So then, I guess he has been as bad as it seems.
Yeah.
I just happen to have the stats looking at him. So,
but the thing is, but I'm with you, Andrew. It doesn't feel like it's that bad. It's not great, but it doesn't feel like he's only hit 50% of his field goals. It's just
in the last 2 games, he's 4 of 6. Does that sound right?
3 of 4, and then 1 of 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, really, it's just that Oklahoma State. It's like the kicks that he's missed have been tough because that Auburn kick in the moment felt like a big deal because was it their first possession?
First or second.
First or second, and gave them a chance to really get up to a good start. It felt big in the moment. The one he missed against Oklahoma State was obviously a big one too. Both of the ones he missed, I should say. And so it's I think that's why it feels worse than it's even been, although statistically, literally the worst in the SEC. So hard to make the argument that they're not as bad as it seems.
We also got a few other comments here on Twitter. People saying that some of we've talked about, of course, that Luke has been MIA, but Mike says Ty Broden just not being able to catch a ball. You got Caleb says the offensive line, the run game is working really well. Pass protection has room to improve, but it looks like Pittman's more older offensive lines compared to what it was a year ago, which is true. And then also Hog fan says the defense, mainly the linebackers to me, because everyone was worried about them. I don't think we've missed a beat with them out there.
The linebackers, I feel like, would be a positive surprise. Although I will say, by the time fall camp rolled around, the way they started talking about that group, you could tell they liked their linebackers. I don't know if I was fully convinced that it was going to be maybe the best part of the defense, but it turns out linebacker actually might be the strength of the defense. But I don't know. They haven't been that good, so I don't want to give them too much credit.
Sorry is advertised, and it almost feels like Dix is supplanting Spence.
Yeah. There's an or on that depth chart.
I know. Yeah.
Oh, the faded oars.
Which I don't know why they did that when they literally just started Dix. So it's
right.
If you're going to switch their names, you might as well just switch the names.
Oh man. Well, by the way, somebody was asking, is Jeremy still on hold? The phone lines are off today, boys and folks. Sorry about that. I'll take the blame for this one because I don't know who else I'd blame. So I'm going to do it. So sorry about that, but we'll have other phone opportunities for you to call in and rant and rave and do all your stuff. So There was another one. Where was it?
We're trying to graduate from the War Memorial to Razorback Stadium operations here.
Yeah, that's true.
Technical difficulties. Just give us a break, okay?
Slowly but surely getting there. Oh yeah, yeah. Kingsley says, "I'll give y'all $2 to not reading that super chat." All right, well then, Kingsley.
I saw a couple of people
throw
say
it
that.
up.
Y'all have 5 minutes to to live up to your word, or else we're reading that super chat.
Yeah, we're reading that super chat,
and
so
all three of us gotta say it.
Yep, and we're gonna make Andrew sing it. He's gonna sing it in his operatic voice and everything. So, I wanted to get to that chat too. There was something else, and I've been meaning to hit the one of the chats of the super, not the super chats, but the favoriting of the chats, so that way I can find them. Oh, this was, sorry. It says, Nick says, I remember John asking if our Auburn was a rival last week. I don't remember asking that. But I'd say with Hugh Freeze making these comments, it seems to be becoming one.
Yeah, it's interesting. Andrew and I did a whole Locked On podcast about that, just like where Auburn fits in as rivals in the different sports. I mean, we talked about basketball and baseball, and then just big picture, like program to program. And we kind of agreed, like they probably didn't fit in the, upper echelon, like the top 3 or 4. They were probably in that second tier of rivals. But yeah, I mean, if Hugh Freeze is going to keep pissing everybody off, then,
Well, also Arkansas and Auburn have been in the same division for like 30 years. So I don't know if starting to become one is accurate in this case. But yeah, I think Auburn is consistently like never going to be Arkansas's number 1 rival or number 2 or number 3, frankly. They're consistently in that 4 to 6 range across all the sports. Because like there's like basketball, you have different teams that make up that top 3. Baseball, you probably have different teams that make up that top 3 in football. But Auburn is consistently like 4 or 5. Yeah.
No, I'd agree with that, which is ironic because if you think like Auburn has always hired the coaches that Arkansas wish they would have hired that's from the state of Arkansas. Like they've always had, Tommy Tuberville, who's from the state of Arkansas. Say what you want about him, but he's at Auburn. I mean, he had a year where they went undefeated and probably should have played for the national championship. I don't think they were going to beat that USC team, but
he's the reason the playoff exists.
Yeah, pretty much. But he was always really solid there. Then they had Malzahn that was there for a while, and then of course now Hugh Freeze. So that is ironic. Yeah, that's right. Chad Morris is the OC for that one great year. But still, it's like if there was ever a time to have that rival that people think, you felt like it would have been dealing with those situations and coaches and connections. But no, I just had to wait for Hugh Freeze to say something stupid, and that's what gets people fired up for it. It's amazing.
I think it's more of a year-to-year thing with Auburn. Like I think they're kind of consistently in that middle of the pack range, but then there's certain years where Arkansas Auburn has a lot of heat. Like obviously that 2010 game with Cam Newton had a lot of heat, but and like when they were number 1 in basketball had a lot of heat. But consistently Auburn, I don't lose sleep over Auburn for whatever reason.
No, I don't either. Actually, that's maybe something we do down the road. Maybe it'd be a fun summer topic is just like go through the SEC teams and then go to the major sports of which for Arkansas and how they view like do they hate them in this? It's like Kentucky football, nobody gives a rip, but in Kentucky basketball or LSU football or baseball, but no one cares about basketball. Just do something like that. That'd be kind of interesting to see how people felt about that. So, okay, we gotta pull this up. Kingsley I said he upped it to $5 just so Andrew has to sing the super chat in a Freddie Mercury voice.
Freddie Mercury, like that's the Queen guy.
It is. I don't know if we need to go down that route.
I can do Freddie Mercury. I'm not a jukebox. I mean, what do we think this is? Like,
could you imagine that after an Arkansas win, Sam Pittman's like, "Turn that damn jukebox on." He just presses Andrew's belly.
Yep, and then suddenly just belts it.
By the way, since we might have gotten upcharged to where we don't have to read the other one, but Young Sea Lion did come through with another super chat. It says, you better read my super chats.
Oh man!
But here's the thing, like. What I've noticed about Andrew is you can't put him on the spot with these things. There will come a time probably before the end of this show where he breaks into song. It's just got to be when it feels right. You just can't.
That is true. I'm not. Yeah. I refuse to be a clown that performs on command. That's not what I am. Now I will perform, and I will be a clown, but I don't perform on command.
Thanks for.
You can't say turn that damn Andrew on. You can't say that. It doesn't work.
As soon as you said that, it popped up from Kingsley. That's pretty good.
Oh man,
we're in
hopefully there's just one person that ever does that. But Yes, that's you should see the text messages in our group. My favorite thing is when Andrew comes in, he's like, "Boys, I have a confession," or "Boys, I got to apologize," or "Boys, I got some big news."
Guys, is this a safe space?
Yeah, this is a
I
safe
think, guys,
space.
This is a safe space. And John thought I was about to like tell some crazy secret. I just caught another L in the playoff of college football 25. Sorry.
I was legit like, of course, buddy. Yeah, whatever you say, it stays here, man. What's up?
Yeah. Going through some stuff. It's like, no, just playing the video game. But hey, it's spoken like a true journalist right there. That you hook them in with the headline, and then you actually just tell some random story.
That's my entire life motto is to over promote and under deliver.
Good thing to live by. So yeah, keep those coming in, folks, of all those chats and everything. I do want to do, of course, another segment that we enjoy doing here, and of course, it's sponsored by BetSaracen, the best sports betting app in the state of Arkansas. It's not even close. Fun fact: we are going to be down there at the Saracen Casino Resort. Help me out with this, Chris. October 13th. Yes, that's Sunday. Because as we know, that's like the tour that the Razorback basketball team is going to go on, then they're going to be in Pine Bluff for that, and the Saracen Casino is feeding the team and everything, and we're going to be down there live broadcasting, live streaming from the sportsbook there. So it's going to be awesome for all you down there in that area. Come and see us on that Sunday and get a chance to hang out with us and talk a little bit with Saracen and the fine folks over there, as well as the basketball team. But before that, going to do a little buy or sell, which is a perfect segue because some of these things we've already talked about, so it'd be nice to have like a little official buy or sell there too. So we'll start off with buy or sell that Taylon Green will complete over 50% of his passes against Texas A&M.
Buy that.
Yeah.
Buy
He's
it.
going to do it.
It's
okay.
Again, it's the law of averages. And he only was under 50% one game, right? Like at UAB, he was like 50 something.
Oklahoma State, he was 50 something, but it was like 74 attempts or something like that. It was a big sample size.
I really do. I think he's going to complete over 50% of his passes. I think he's going to have a decent day passing, because this might not make sense, but the way I'm justifying it in my head is Texas A&M's not very good as a run defense, so they're almost going to have to overdo it to stop Arkansas. So I think the opportunity is going to be there. I think he's going to be able to throw it a little bit. It's not going to be crazy. Don't get carried away, but I think it's going to be an improved performance.
He should have some easy completions. I'm definitely buying 50%. And also, people forget, it's in a dome. No wind.
It's true.
It's in a dome. And we were told when he underthrew the first pass of the season, it was because of the wind. Yeah. He really struggled against UAB. One of the first questions asked Sam Pittman about it was, well, it was windy out there. Did that have a factor? No wind in the dome. So
is Tyrone Broden a cheat code in a dome? We'll find out.
Find out on Saturday. Yeah. And also, correct me if I'm wrong, Andrew, but I believe the record for most passing yards in a single game was by our Razorback quarterback was in a dome in Jerry World in this particular series. So might be able to some too.
Dialing it up. Yeah, it's just
it's fate.
In a dome.
It's in a dome. I'm going to buy it too, and I'm with you guys. It's going to be just a little above. It's not going to be a D, but it'll still be a high F.
I think it's going to be 60%. 15 to 25
too. And seeing SCT here saying Taylon's going to go 17 for 25, it just made me think the other part about this is I believe that they're going to be putting him in better situations to throw the football. I really do. I think this is going to be the week where we see some tweaks to the offense because they got a pretty good idea of what their strengths are, what they can do, what they can't. And the throws that Taylon's going to be making are going to be higher percentage opportunities. I really think so.
I'd buy that as well. All right. So buy or sell doing with Jaquinton Jackson that he's going to have his season high of rushing yards against Texas A&M. And for context, the reason I asked this is because the stats at least show that this is the Texas A&M's rush defense is 13th in the SEC, 62nd overall. So that's why I wanted to bring this up. But you're selling it, Curtis?
Yeah, I'm still going to sell that. I think he's going to have a good day at the office. But I got Jaquinton Jackson pegged for a 200-yard game somewhere down the road, and it ain't going to be against them.
Okay, so let me rephrase it then, because I actually meant it this way, but I can see why that was my bad on the word.
Oh, so, like up to this point?
Up to this point, yes, that's what I meant. Sorry.
What's his season high right now? 140?
Yeah, 140. I had it in front of me actually. 140.
UAB, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to bring up.
Oh, I know he had like 149 on somebody.
Yeah, I'm bringing up his.
He only had like
stat
107 against or 101 against UAPB.
Yeah, he's got 149 yards against Oklahoma State, 147 against UAB. So will he have over 150 yards in this game?
Actually, yes, I'm buying that.
Okay.
I'm selling it, but I think he gets over the century mark.
Okay. Man, okay. Well, here's the thing: if he does get over 150 yards, Arkansas wins this game. I feel really confident about that.
Win this game.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah, there it is. But I'm actually going to buy it too, because I don't know if this is something that's legit, but it's just something. Listen, the guy's playing in Texas. He's playing in Jerry World. You know, this is his last year. He wants to show out. You know, he's going to have a lot of family there. You know, he originally went to Texas, and then it didn't work out. And he went to Utah and whatever. But I don't know. I feel like he's going to have that extra bit of juice and motivation to go out there and get after it. And I assume since he went to Texas, he probably has a little bit of extra hatred for Texas A&M because of that fact. So, yeah, a little motivation there. But
nobody from the state of Texas likes Texas A&M.
No, that's why they.
No matter what part of the state you grew up in, you didn't like Texas A&M.
No, and if the only reason you went there is because they paid you for it, and they gave you a lot of money. Yeah. So, speaking of kickers, how about this buy or sell? Buy or sell that Kyle Ramsey will make over 50% of his field goals on Saturday. And when I say over 50, I'm not 1 for 2, saying like he makes over.
I'm going 1 for 1. Yes.
I'm going 2 for 3. Yes,
that would work. Yeah.
So you both buy.
Yeah, that's over.
I'm selling it. I think he goes 1 for 3.
That'd be brutal.
Will that like cost Arkansas the game?
Probably. Sure. Why not? I mean, this game's stupid as it is. Like, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, we'll see. You know, still to this day, Cam Little's kick in that game. I've never seen it before.
Yeah,
I saw
an
of the
A&M
upright.
account tweet that out, and I'd forgotten how bad the doink was.
Like, couldn't you talk about? Okay, yeah. How about this, Hugh Freeze? You kick that ball 9 more times. That doesn't happen. Like,
yeah, that was as close to a kick going in for one that didn't go in like that I've ever seen. That was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's just
top. I think I've never seen anything like that.
That's what I'm saying. It hit the top, and then it just and even if it would have gone over, I'm not sure how that works. I guess they would have not counted it because I don't know, but still, it bounced backwards, and so it came out. So it's just again the laws of gravity just did not exist in that.
By the way, worth noting regarding Kyle Ramsey, it's in a dome.
Over 50% because it's in the dome. That's right, dome. Everybody's going over 50% for the dome live.
Nobody's ever thrown an incomplete pass, and no one's ever missed a field goal in a dome.
It doesn't exist. I'm bringing this one up just because it hasn't happened yet this year, at least I don't think. But buy or sell that there will be a non-offensive touchdown scored by the Hogs in this game.
I will say there's an insane amount of non-offensive touchdowns that are scored in this matchup in Jerry World. Like historically, almost every single year there's one. Sam Irwin-Hill got in the end zone. I know A&M's run back at least 2 punts on Arkansas. I believe Jalen Braxton scored a touchdown there last year. Like Arkansas's had a lot of there's been a lot of non-offensive touchdowns in this stadium.
Didn't that go against Arkansas? Was that last year?
No, they had
Arkansas did something stupid.
Yeah. Actually, you know what's funny about last year is I don't remember almost anything about that Texas A&M game other than the fact, and I was there, and only other than the fact that Luke Has got hurt. That was like the only thing I remember from that game.
Yeah, like right away.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, so you're buying it, Andrew?
I'm actually selling it. I was just going to point out that there were a lot of scores, but that, law of averages kind of plays out. Let's see. It was Lorando Johnson, Mr. Snacks, that had an interception return touchdown last year, as well as Chris Russell, who also ran back a pick last year, and Aniyah Smith ran back a punt last year for A&M. So there were 3 non-offensive touchdowns in that game, 2 of which were scored by A&M.
I'm buying it because Jalen Braxton's going to do it.
Ooh.
That would be all. I mean, that would be perfect.
Yeah.
Would he?
The KJ fumble was a touchdown.
Thank you. Okay.
That's what I was about to bring up when he said last year. I was like, well, I think that was 2 years ago. But yes, that one was the one, of course.
But that's what's crazy. Last year's game had 3. And then the year before, you had obviously the big one. Dude, just big plays happen in this matchup. Because
Big
even
dumb
that
plays.
game, the KJ fumble game, Arkansas also had like a 60-yard touchdown to Warren Thompson. I believe
Ketron
caught
Jackson.
yeah, he caught a long ball. Like, it's crazy.
Man, just love this game so much.
Well,
All
and
the
also
craziness.
you got to take into account though. Here's the thing, though, guys. The structure of the stadium, it's a dome, so it's like it kind of just it's conducive to big plays, you know.
Except it turns it off though when the Cowboys play there though in their own stadium. Yeah, suddenly those big plays don't exist for them. It's always for the other teams. I'm going to buy it as well, but I'm curious, Curtis, and I guess Andrew, you can answer this too. But when you said Jalen Braxton, but who would be your favorite player to score a touchdown non-offensively, like that if they scored?
Hudson Clark.
That's what I was going to say, dude. If he got a pick six in this game, like carry him off the field like Rudy. Just
Forget. What's the name of that school that he went to?
Oh, it's dude. Come
school.
on, yes,
Highland Park.
yes. Thank you.
Highland Park.
Did he play with Jerry Jones's grandson there, or was that before?
I think he played with Chandler there. Well, I guess maybe both because they overlapped, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's right.
Besides Hudson Clark, a close second would be Ian Trafford.
Oh yeah,
That'd
big boy
be
touchdowns
awesome.
are always great.
Big fella touchdown. Come on now.
How about this?
Score.
Mr.
There we go,
Satania.
Dalton. Yeah, exactly.
Mr. Satania.
Why
punt return?
won't
Yeah.
he score a touchdown?
Yeah.
I mean, a non-offensive, I should say. I mean, obviously he can catch a touchdown, but it's time for him to house one.
How about Ashton No getting like a scoop and score?
Just pick up the fumble.
He's down there, man.
I guess you can't
How about
return
him?
it though.
He decleats the guy returning the punt because he forgot to call fair catch, picks up the fumble that he forced, and then runs it in.
I think everybody would take that.
Love that.
Everybody would. Rob's saying, I was like, how about Monte? Well, I mean, just he's on offense though, isn't he?
He almost
damn
housed
near
that
had one.
onside
Yeah.
kick.
It's true. Yeah, this would be great. Huddy with the tutty. Oh man, it's the Bob Holtz lead already written right there.
He didn't run back any of those 9 interceptions he had against Ole Miss back for a touchdown, did he?
No, sadly not. Only Catalan ran that one back, and then Grant Morgan, yeah, ran one back. So
With his bionic elbow.
yeah, that's right. And then this final buy or sell is just probably more extreme, but buy or sell that Arkansas will never play another regular season in Jerry World or War Memorial Stadium again.
Sell.
Well, they're like literally playing next year in War
Well,
Memorial, right?
yeah, I mean like after that though, after the known ones, yeah.
No, they're definitely gonna do it at some point.
Yeah.
And
I think
frankly, they probably should.
You talking about in Jerry World or both?
both.
I think
they'll do both
Okay.
before 2030.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they'll do both, but I think they should do like a every 5 years go to Jerry World. I think they should do the season opening thing there that all these other teams do. Like LSU always plays in like a, maybe I wouldn't hate that a little Sunday night season opener for Arkansas versus like TCU or something like that in Jerry World. Like that kind of thing would be cool.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, I think it's no matter what, they're between the two. I'm selling it too because I feel like they are. Jerry Jones, as long as he's on this earth, is going to have his Razorbacks playing in his stadium in some capacity. Like he's going to have that happen.
Yeah.
But I wonder because I like the idea of, like you said, the season opener, and maybe when they're supposed to play. I'm just throwing a team out there, but like a Utah or a Oklahoma State, or maybe actually get back to the Southwest Classic where they're playing TCU and Baylor and stuff, like something like that. Pretty consistently, I could see happening, but I think that they would be a lot more apt to do that than go down there and play in War Memorial Stadium again. So,
Well, I know you said regular season, but you also got to take into account that Arkansas is going to play several playoff games in Arlington as well.
sure, yeah. After their after hosting a playoff game at their home too, like,
Right, yeah, the home at Donald W. and then go to Arlington and then go to Hard Rock. Yeah,
yeah. Just then they'll make it up there too. A few people came in with their own little buy or sells for us. Devin says, buy or sell, Talon throws 0 interceptions in this game.
Selling that. He's good for a pick, bub.
I think I'm going to buy it simply because, like, it's kind of the law of averages thing. Like, is he going to throw a pick every game?
If he throws a touchdown, he is, because he's just about even.
He's like Russell Westbrook with a 3-point shot where it's like when he makes 2, he's like, all right, now I can afford to take a stupid one.
Yep.
It's like now I can really let it eat.
You got the green light there.
But I do feel like he's going to be a little bit more conservative throwing the
Agreed.
ball. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, they have to be having these conversations, like kind of like we had yesterday, where it's like, if they don't turn the ball over, it's going to be hard for them to lose a lot of games. I mean, obviously you're going to lose to like the top teams, but I mean, like in games like this against A&M with a younger quarterback, can they really go score for score with Arkansas? I really don't know if they can unless Arkansas helps them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering if how much they're just going to focus on the run and trying to establish that, and it alleviates a lot of the things that Talon has to do. Because at least with Auburn last week, they're going into that game. Auburn's rush defense was pretty good. A&M's is not, which we'll talk about A&M here in a second because there were some interesting things from that. But also Garrett says, buy or sell. Will Tyrone Broden catch a pass or remain catchless for the third straight week?
I'm going to buy that he catches a pass this week.
I think he's going to just by necessity. Like I think they're going to eventually, he's going to get 3 or 4 more targets. One of them will happen to stick.
Yeah. Hey, they're going to throw it to him, guy. Like
they're going to.
Will he get a touchdown catch this year?
I think he will. I actually do think he will. I mean,
okay.
You know, if he can catch one against Florida with Kenny Guyton dialing it up, I think he can catch one, right?
Okay. I mean, I would think. And then Williams says, buy or sell, D-line gets more than 5 pressures and more than 2 sacks. Selling that.
I don't know if I can buy that.
The D-line, I'll buy that they get more than 5 pressures, but I'm not buying the 2 sacks.
I think I agree with that, actually.
Yeah.
Because I think they pressures, they've been getting like...
They've been getting better there.
Range. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then Sam just comes in. Curse, do you think we should switch to Shipley at kicker?
Yes, I do. I do. And it's, I don't know, man. It's just a weird deal because I thought they should have gone with Shipley out of the gates. There has to, like we were talking about, okay, this thing with DeBinion keeps getting weirder and weirder. Like there's got to be something going on here. And now we know about this. There has to be something going on with the Shipley deal because he was better in all the scrimmages. I mean, and Ramsey was hurt.
Yeah.
It's just a strange deal, man. But yes, I would do that.
It seems like they are intent because we talked about this yesterday with like Reed Bauer. It's like just the kickers and the punters. If there's some about them that even if they're good, they're just like, we got to find a way you can't play. Like it's weird. I don't know. That Scott Fountain guy though playing some games around here. Also, shout out to Whitty for his sponsored comment of my toddler can catch better than him.
I'm guessing that's about Broden.
Yeah, I guess so. I reckon.
It's been a rough go for him. And
it has been,
like he's had the dropsies. Last year when he got to campus and in camp, the dude was dropping everything. And it looked like he had gotten past that. But it's not just that. It's like he's been slipping and falling down a lot on his routes. Him and Talon don't seem to have a really good connection going on. Like it goes beyond just balls hitting him in the hands and him dropping them. It's weird, man.
I really thought last year was like the worst case scenario for Tyrone Broden's year. Like I just kept thinking back to it. I'm like, I know he didn't break out, but like everything went wrong between the offensive line, first year on campus, bad offense, not a great rapport with KJ. I was like, there's no way it goes worse for him this year, but somehow it has actually gone worse.
Somehow, some way. It definitely has. A few more comments here before we get to the A&M talk. Angel's asking if you guys are going to simulate the game. Yes.
Hell yeah.
Thursday night at 8 p.m., we will be simulating, to which, don't worry about the stats, but the record is 100% accurate at this point in time.
That's right.
And even the Arkansas, because our Arkansas-Oklahoma State game did not go to overtime, right? It just was a bad choke job, right? I don't think it went to OT.
Go to OT. Not on our stream.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure. Everyone's saying that Shipley and Stein were package deals. Is that a thing like Dalton Motorsports?
Dalton Motorsports being a goober.
Okay, I was hoping so.
I mean, maybe that's what it was. Like, hey,
do you do package deals for the long snapper and the the kicker? Like, hey, if you're going to get me, you got to get my guy over here throwing me the ball. I don't know if that's the case, but
maybe Devin Bale has a better holder kicker relationship with Ramsey, and that's what it is.
It is a very important thing. All right, so let's get into a little bit of Texas A&M talk. I know as the week goes on, we'll probably dive a lot more into it and in more in depth. But I was just looking at some of the numbers here for A&M, and I actually talked with David Nuno of Texags earlier today, and it's pretty incredible. Where I don't consider A&M a bad team, but they're not a good team. But the only thing that they have as far as in total teams and everything that they're actually pretty efficient at is their rushing attack on offense. They're second in the SEC, 8th in the country. They're averaging 256 yards a game, which actually I think plays well into Arkansas because they have done a really good job against the run. And the other number that they're good at in offense is time of possession. So the rest of it, though, get this. Scoring offense, 13th. Scoring defense, 11th. Total offense 10th, total defense 10th. Rush defense 13th, which again could be problematic for them against Arkansas. Pass offense they're 6th, and then pass defense they're 9th. But I don't know. I just look at this and I'm like, geez. I know that they played some decent teams. Notre Dame was a good game, and then they played Florida, which Florida's not any good, but I don't know. The more I read this thing, I'm like, man, maybe Arkansas is going to win this game based on the numbers alone.
Well, that's kind of what our guy Rob here was. He said going to try and psych y'all up, but nothing about A&M is scary. I'll be honest with you. So I didn't do a ton of like real deep dive and stuff, but I was looking at their PFF grades yesterday. There's really not much. Like PFF has them and Arkansas's defense. Like they're two of the worst coverage units in the SEC. They're not like overly scary in any specific team category. And then if you go through player by player, like a lot of their best players PFF wise are edge rushers. It seems like their pass rush is pretty decent, which is going to probably be the one big area Arkansas has to focus in on. But yeah, there's not a bunch of guys you circle where you're like, whoa, got to watch out for that guy. Or even offensively, not a ton of playmakers that you're like, whoa, watch out for him. And Marcel Reed has been solid. He's been fine. I think he brings some stability to this offense, to their offense that Connor Wegman just did not have in that first game. So we'll see. I think he's probably the better option. But even like I kind of with you, John, and with what seems to be the sentiment of like, there's nothing about A&M that's scary, but I do think they are very well rounded, and so I don't want people to be overlooking them in a way of like, oh yeah, Arkansas will just be better across the board because it's not like Arkansas is the most well-rounded team.
It is nice that Arkansas will go through their first 5 games without facing a good quarterback. It's kind of how often does that happen? Here's the thing, though. All these things can be true about Texas A&M, but I think people are going to realize very, very quickly once this game starts that they are by far the most talented, athletic, physical, big team that Arkansas has faced all year. By far. It doesn't mean they're going to beat Arkansas. I'm picking Arkansas to win this game. I did in the preseason. I'm going to do it this week. But I think there's going to be an adjustment there. Like I could see the first quarter being similarly ugly to some of the other things we've seen because they are built different. It doesn't mean they're good. And they got a lot of things still to figure out at quarterback, and Elko's getting his system put in place, whatever. But in terms of sheer talent and just having dudes, they got them over there at A&M. So I'll give them credit for that at least.
They do seem like the type of team where if you're bad on either side of the line of scrimmage, they will expose you, and so offensive line, I think Arkansas is going to have answers for that pass rush. And then frankly, I'm interested to see how this Arkansas defensive line matches up with them at the line of scrimmage of like, hey, are they going to be able to just clog up holes, or is A&M going to be able to impose their will a little bit?
Good test. Yeah. Really good test there in the trenches for sure.
Because I saw this, because to that trench play you're referring to, this is where it could be problematic for Arkansas because sacks allowed, A&M is 3rd in the SEC, 18th in the country at sacks allowed, and tackles for loss allowed, they're number 1 in the country in tackles for loss allowed. So teams that have gone up against them, I know it's still early in the year, and maybe that Arkansas has some luck there, but they haven't been great in that. But then on the other side, a benefit is that A&M does not get to the quarterback at all. It's kind of similar to Arkansas. They're worse in sacks than Arkansas, if you can believe it. They're 108th in the country, 15th in the SEC. So there's a lot of matchups that I feel like it's going to be interesting to see what could take place. But if you're a Razorback fan and you see that Texas A&M is one of the worst teams in the SEC at rush defense, that to me, that's the name of the game right there. If they're as bad at rush defense as what the numbers show, just keep pounding the rock. Quentin Jackson, Taylon Green, Rodney Hill, I guess we won't be seeing our dub, but Braylon Russell, just throw all the running backs and get after it and relieve some of the pressure off of them and try to force them to throw. And then if you have to go and Taylon Green and throw, hopefully he's a little bit more comfortable with it. But I don't know. I like the matchups for Arkansas overall, but I agree with you too, Curtis. Like the talent-wise, individual-wise, size-wise, A&M is going to be the best team that they go up against.
I want to touch on 2 things real quickly. One, this guy says, why did Hugh Freeze get fired from Ole Miss originally? Drew, is because of it was a recruiting fell off a little bit. So just look up Hugh Freeze recruiting visit and see what happens there. Also, 2, I have very much breaking news to announce.
Great.
I received a message from a young man named Ashton No. And he said his dad sent him a clip of our podcasts, and he said that he thought it was hilarious because I kept saying "in go" or "go," and he was like, "Just want to let you know, it's pronounced no. The G is silent." But he said, "Go Hogs," and I appreciate it. He laughed it off. He thought it was funny, but
Hell yeah.
appreciate that. Well, I hope he sees the clip of us saying that we hope he scores a touchdown, because that would be awesome.
Yeah. And we were really hyping him up in the report card too. For
that had to be what he was referring to.
He's one of the big reasons why special teams wound up getting an A, for me at least, despite Ramsey missing a field goal in that game. So,
like Andrew, I know you probably would get. I would have got a little nervous seeing a player DM you and be like, "You're like, oh geez, what I doing back shots again?" Like, just doing all that. But that's pretty funny and that's pretty cool that they do that. Yeah, no is how you pronounce it.
Yeah,
G is silent. And to the point when we were talking about A&M too, Young Sea Lion, thank you for the sponsored comment. Says, I feel like we do this every year with A&M. A win anytime we play in that stadium should save a coach's job. This was something I brought up last year, and I'm going to give myself credit because this is about as close to journalisming as I've ever done in my life. But I went back and I looked and researched at the times that Arkansas has won this game, which hasn't been often. They've only done it 4 times since this series started. But every single year that Arkansas won this game, they had at least 8 wins that season. Every year they've lost, they've lost or they've only won 7 or less. So this game is really dictated the successful outlook of an Arkansas Razorback football season. And so I feel like, it's important on that realm, but it's also important too because we thought that the Oklahoma State game was bad. Arkansas is finding ways to lose this game year after year after year after year. Is what is like the intangibles that even though on the numbers there, Arkansas looks like the better team. It doesn't matter because Arkansas has been a better team a lot of times and they just didn't find a way to win. So can't deal with the intangibles there. It's brutal. Like Arkansas, Kevin Sumlin never lost to Arkansas. That's terrible.
Broke the SEC yardage record against Arkansas that one year.
Did he really? Was it that?
Or maybe it was Johnny Manziel broke the player yardage record.
Now that I do believe.
What's crazy is at that point in time, we didn't realize Johnny Manziel was Johnny Manziel.
Mm-hmm.
We were like this redshirt freshman quarterback.
Dude.
Yeah. I think that was the game that was played in College Station because they joined the SEC and it was like the John L. Smith year, and then they won 58-10. I do remember that one. And lo and behold, Johnny Manziel had one of the greatest years ever. But this game is crazy. And I don't know, maybe you guys know this. This is actually something that Rob brought up, and maybe you guys have done research on the top of your head. I can't remember the last time Arkansas started 2-0 in SEC play. Because even in 2021, Arkansas started 1-0, but then they lost to Georgia. I cannot remember the last time they started 2-0 in SEC play. Because that A&M game has always been there at that time. So...
Yeah, I mean, 2015, they didn't start off 2-0. I'm trying to think, it would have to be back in that 2010, 2011 stretch, right?
I would think so.
Even then, they didn't do it because they played Bama early.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, genuinely, you might have to go back to Houston. It might be 06.
Man, the reason I didn't brought it up because I started thinking about when was the last time they've done that. And I know they never did it under Bielema, Morris, or Pitman. And under Petrino, like you said, Andrew, they always lost to Bama, so never had it there. But it might be 2006. It absolutely might be. And think about how
there as I scroll through this.
That's craziness.
Goodness gracious, yeah.
Yeah, because in 06, they lost to USC in the opener, but then they didn't lose another regular season game until
they never did.
They beat Vandy to open SEC play, then they beat Bama there.
And they should have beaten Bama.
Absolute crap out of Auburn at Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's 06 is the last time Arkansas started 2-0 in SEC play. It'd be one thing if it was like the last time Arkansas won 10 games or the last time they went 8-0 or something like that. 2-0 in SEC play.
Because it was that
always game this weekend.
That Alabama A&M game, man. Being that early, it always just killed them. But it is going to be historic.
It didn't happen again prior to that before the turn of the century. It's it happened in 06, but it did not happen. Yeah, it's crazy.
So Arkansas really
this could be history.
That actually blows my mind a little bit. And also, I think it's also a good point where it's how often do you see teams start off 2-0 in SEC play and then just fall apart?
The last time before 2006 was 1998. They beat Alabama 42-6. They beat Kentucky in Little Rock 27-20.
How'd that year finish? I'm sure it finished well, right?
Yeah, 9-3, baby.
Yeah, a trip to a
They're
loss.
8-0, right?
Mhm,
Yeah, dude.
lost to Tom Brady in the Citrus Bowl.
Yeah, about that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that was the only thing that anyone remembers from that season. But that is pretty crazy, though. Like when you really put that into perspective. And thanks for doing that, Curtis, because I was curious about, like, you're talking about twice in 30 years almost?
Pretty much.
Just go 2-0. Like, it's not like we're setting the bar at something crazy.
Goodness gracious.
And if they were ever going to do it, this year might be the best time that they have, best chance they have
every
at
opportunity. Yeah.
it. I mean,
yeah, this is we're real close. I mean, it's literally just 3-point underdogs just go in.
yeah, my goodness. So you think about what that does. And again, I know we'll plenty to talk about with A&M, but just think about what that does for that Tennessee game. Like if they're 2-0 in SEC play and they finally beat A&M in that, and even if they didn't end pretty, it's still going to be an electric atmosphere. But
Give us
We
that.
kind of felt that way.
yes, please give us
We
that.
felt that way in 2021, where we were just like looking ahead to that Georgia game, and we knew Arkansas was going to beat Georgia, but we were like, man, there's going to be so much hype, so much attention around them if they're able to start off 4-0. And then they did it, and then they were on College Game Day, and then they failed on that big stage. But I don't hold that too much against them. Like they were going to lose that game no matter what.
Yeah.
But it did end up being relevant. And that year, I felt like Arkansas had just way more buzz around them overall. And so, yeah, I mean, this would be a big deal if Arkansas were able to go out there. And we've talked about it a few times. I know some have asked. Arkansas is going to have a nice little number next to their name if they win this one.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they'll be a top 25 team if that happens. And how ironic that if they do get College Game Day for the first time since forever, it was going to be against Tennessee once again because that was the first time.
How about
first time
that?
they had it.
It feels like 06 in the air, boys.
Yes,
Arkansas loses the game early in the year and then goes undefeated in SEC play until the final weekend. Yeah.
Have you ever thought about like what if it's not going to? But what if something like that happened? Like what if just Arkansas just like beat Tennessee, beat LSU,
No.
I know they won't, but like I don't know what I'd do. I don't know what I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't. I just feel like something happened.
I'll tell you what the three of us would do if they beat Tennessee. Counting that money.
Yeah. I thought you were going to break out into a fight song singing again. It's like that's what we're going to do, start singing the fight song. But
I mean,
yes.
we will be singing the fight song as we do every morning before we start the show.
It's true. Yep. If only we were in person, we'd do it while holding hands.
John, are you going down there? Have you decided yet?
I'm not, dude. It's every hour that goes by, I get closer and closer to just doing it and going down.
Tickets earlier, yeah, he's going.
Well, that was actually for somebody else, but like, yeah, I'm probably going to end up going. I don't know, because it's one of those things where I when I was a kid, I always had kids are afraid of the stuff under their bed. And when I had this fear that I was going to miss out on the greatest game that ever happened in the history of sports. And one of the times that I've always actually learned it was actually in basketball when I was a student. I was this close to skipping out on the Arkansas-Oklahoma game when Blake Griffin was there at Oklahoma and Arkansas won. I was like, I just, from the last minute, it was all because of a chick. And so I went and I was like, I am so glad I did that. So that's my problem. That's my conundrum. And I know the one time I'm going to miss out going down there, it's going to be when it's like the greatest, coolest game ever. And like fans are celebrating, and then people are taking pictures of Texas live, and Sam Pittman's over there doing a keg stand. Like I feel so missing out. So,
John,
long story short,
real quick about that Oklahoma game. So I attended that with my brother, and they handed out little towels at that game. And obviously Arkansas won. It was a cool thing. But I remember hanging it up in my room, and my brother wrote a little thing, and it was on a little piece of paper, and it was like Arkansas basketball is quote unquote back. It's like all caps. And it sat in my room, and then Arkansas went 2-16 in SEC play, or 2-14. Sorry.
Yep,
I remember that. They
well.
played 16 SEC games. Now they play 33.
John, a message to you, my friend.
Dalton, put that on a T-shirt, and we're gonna make that the moniker. But also, just another thing about that. Again, since talking about Oklahoma and that Texas game, I still have, and you couldn't do this anymore. They handed out Courtney Fortson wigs.
Sick.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
And a headband. And Courtney Fortson thought it was the coolest thing. And I did too. I was like, dude, so this is what it's like to have hair like this. And it's like, yeah, he probably couldn't do that again. I don't think.
I
that
was
would
like, I feel like that's like almost frowned upon.
yeah, it's appropriating or whatever they call it.
Someone showed up at Bud Walton and just straight up blackface.
Yeah. Just I don't think it's to that element, but yes, he's like something you just can't do anymore. Just can't do it anymore.
Oh, we got balls in the chat. We got balls in the chat that are a little lurking, a little nervous about that game next week, huh? A little nervous, are we? No, we ain't got to buy this week.
Might as well be.
We got a little tune up before we welcome the Vols into town.
Yeah. By the way, random. Who does Tennessee play this weekend? Do they
have a bye? Yeah.
Oh crap! That's why he asked that. Also, I didn't mean to star that, but Witty F.
And he's just he's paying a lot of money just to throw shade at Tyrone Broden. But all right.
Listen, Woody says his ex-wife will catch more balls this season than Tyrone Broden. I thought we had to read these.
We are the official home. If you want to trash a specific, actually, we shouldn't say that.
Do not say
But
that.
if you want to get off your crazy takes and pay us, you can always do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're whores. We'll whore ourselves out.
Was the Tyrone intentional, you think?
I don't think so, but you know.
JT Hazelwood, I swear you need to be putting time out in the chat if you're going to be throwing that stuff around. I swear. Jeez, man. Like I said, we're going to get shut down, dude. Google's going to be coming after us.
At least they'll finally have a reason.
Yeah, finally. All right, we just got a few minutes left here, real quick. Want to play this clip? I thought this was kind of interesting and fun from Jimbo Fisher at the Little Rock Touchdown Club. He talked about Darren McFadden.
I'm going to say this. I was in the SEC from 93 to 98 at Auburn, and that was the era of big back. We had Steve Davis. There was a run of backs. Eric, you name it, everybody had backs. And the times when we had great backs, Joe Adai, Tofield, Dominic Davis, the best back I ever played against in the SEC was Darren McFadden. The best back, I'm going to tell you, I've never been around a guy size, speed, home run speed, but then could turn around and run over you, make you miss, could catch the ball, threw the ball. So I remember he played Wildcat quarterback and threw it. One of the best players. I thought he was the most complete. I don't know, was he a 220-pound guy? Oh, yeah. He ran like it, but how fast he was. I thought he was the best back I competed against in my time ever in the SEC.
Yeah, two-time Heisman runner-up.
So he could have just been saying it for the sake of being in Arkansas, but still, pretty nice little Jimbo there. I did not alter his voice. That's actually how he sounds.
Did he
sped that one up?
No.
Did he look like Nick Saban just then?
Man,
that was weird.
Hold on, let me see.
I'm going to say this. I was in the SEC.
Yeah, I think it's the hair, man.
Yeah, I think it's the hair.
The way that the hair looks like it's just sitting on his head.
Right.
Yeah. He didn't color it like Saban does, but
he looks old, man. He's aged.
Yeah.
You guys might be right. He might not coach again.
$75 million or however $100 million or whatever will do that to a man. Will make him age.
That's a rich MFer. Man, his grandkids are set for life, man.
He's doing all right.
Yeah. Can you imagine you like maybe you never meet your grandpa or have a relationship with him, but that you're just a millionaire and you're like, hey, how do I get all this money? Your granddad was fired and he got a lot of money. It's like, it's great.
That's not a story I'll be able to tell my.
That school that has all the weirdos that dress like military people and hug each other? They paid your granddad a lot of money.
Yep.
to go away.
Now you get to go to Harvard. Congrats.
And Rob says, made me respect Jimbo a bit. About $2 worth with an X. All right. Okay.
I like that. I'll take it.
Also, this is a random story, but I was happy about this. You guys see that Vince Carter's getting his jersey retired by the Raptors?
I did see that, and I like that.
Nice. Very cool.
Mm-hmm. So he needs to have it happen. What's up, Andrew?
I was going to just say a very funny thing. Not a very funny thing. So, when Vince Carter did the dunk contest, and I feel like he did, I don't know how to describe the dunk he did, but if y'all saw a video of it, y'all be like, yeah, I remember that. But y'all remember Vince Carter in the dunk contest back in the day?
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Well, in the movie, like Mike, part of the story is they play the Raptors, and Calvin Cambridge, the kid, is getting kidnapped, and he can't get to the game in time, and he shows up for the second half and saves them. But they were had a thing where they were showing clips on TV to be like, oh, they're losing without you, and they just showed a clip of that dunk, and we're like, oh, and they had someone voice over, Carter throws it down, the Raptors are up by 15. I'm like, he did that in game. It was just funny They're like, nobody else noticed it, but I'm just a weirdo sports fan. So even as a kid, I was like, that's the dunk contest. Like they just used that footage because they didn't have any actual footage of Vince Carter playing the LA Knights.
Was that Lil Bow Wow? That was
Bow Wow, dude. Yes. That movie, I probably watched that movie as much as any other movie besides like maybe like Phantom Menace in my life.
Yeah, well, shout out like that. If you ever want to know why Michael Jordan's the GOAT, imagine having a movie named after you and you're not even in it. Like that's when you know you're a big deal. There's
a lot of NBA players in that movie. Really good stuff. It's
AI's
just like
in it.
Good feel good early 2000s movie.
Yeah, a few chats here. Some of these are ridiculous, but as a buy or sell from Hayden, our boy Hayden, neighbors drinks more or less than 3 Cowboy Ritas. How you buy or sell if it's a more or less? You got to choose one or the other, my man.
Also, you got to get a half in there so we have an over on it. Because I mean, what if he drinks 3?
Yeah. Well, no one has time to buy those $22 things, man. I don't know how people do it down there, but yeah, that ain't happening. And
it's a Cowboy Rita.
It's a margarita that's made in Cowboy Stadium. It's literally. I know it sounds like it should be cool, and it's. I remember like buddies of mine getting it, like, oh man, I wonder if it's got like some special. It's like, no, it's literally just a frozen margarita, but for branding purposes there, purposes.
Also, no Kingsley. It wasn't the honey dip, but it was that same dunk contest. He did like a weird 360 like wind. There's like a 360 windmill is the closest I could describe the dunk.
Also,
the legs or not?
No, but it was the same dunk contest where he did all these dunks.
Was it the one? It's over. Was it any?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was that dunk contest, and it might have even been like that dunk.
Yeah. No, that was an epic dunk contest. And I love how you're asking me and Curtis, even though we're like 10 years older than you, of like if we remember that. It's like, yep, we definitely do.
The dunk contest used to be cool, man.
Used to be.
Yeah. We might have to have a conversation about what the post game is going to look like. If people are, peer pressuring John into having all these Cowboy Ritas, then we might have to start the show.
If anybody in the chat,
John hop in and
you got to buy him. You have to force him to drink. Just hand him.
Yeah,
dude.
Content. It's for the brand.
If you're gonna do that, it's like it's gonna end up looking like Jonestown. It would just be passed out, face down on the ground. Just like there's no need for that. Don't tie me up and just be like, drink this Cowboy Rated for $28 and just keep going. Like, just say hi, and
it's an expensive practical joke,
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Which, by the way, if we do go to the game, or if I'd go to the game, we'll figure that part of it out. Because there's no way we'd have any technological problems doing that. So yeah, we'll make it work and make sure that we have plenty of good stuff there, especially if Arkansas wins. Because I love those 2:30 games, man. Like it's so nice to where it's not too early, not too late. Still get the rest of your night to hang out and all that. So could be a good time. I did want to bring up Dalton when he's talking about invading the midnight yell again. I only did that once, and it was when I was in college, and it was at the Harbor High School parking lot when they came to play to Fayetteville. And the U of A, for some reason, let me borrow their megaphone, like their actual official megaphone, and use it. And it was great. They didn't care, but we tried to do our best. It was really weird, though. Like they were wearing overalls, doing the jokes, the little things. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't think the U of A would let you borrow a megaphone anymore. I think they'd throw you in jail if you asked.
Yeah. Well, can't even be. Yeah. Never mind. Can't even. Don't want to go into that. So there's a lot of things they don't let us do.
I think
let me do these.
It'd be funny.
Yeah. Again,
John can't go back to jail.
Nope. I've done my time, Johnny Law. Like I'm ready to move on and serve my city and be a model citizen.
Anyway, he's got to carry a low profile.
That's right. Mike and him says, John, if you do the midnight yell, you've got to give him a midnight suey for us. There's a lot of them, folks. I don't know if I could overcome and be heard in that particular perspective, but I can try. But I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do that. Rob says also, how do you turn down a $30 drink, John? Rude. Well, if you're forcing me to drink it, like that, see, that's the way to do it. Is like you buy it and then you drink it. Here, I buy it and I'm like, I can't. And you're like, but I spent $30 on this for you.
Dang,
that's you guilt me into doing it.
Witty F, that's mean. That's mean, Witty F.
Witty's got to relax, man. Like, what did Broden do in his past life to Witty F? Goodness.
Seems like he dropped a pass in a key game.
Oh, looks like it. People are saying I'm allergic to the chat. I don't know if that's something like what that's about. Something I got.
I don't know.
It's whatever. But anyways. All right. Well, it was a great stream, great show. Guys, any final thoughts before we wrap up and get out of here?
Yeah. I got one final thought.
Okay.
Hugh Freeze, next head coach at Arkansas.
Sing it, Andrew. Hugh Freeze.
I did briefly consider it, but I actually did want to say my final thought is there were a lot of super chats today, and it doesn't go unnoticed and it doesn't go unappreciated. Obviously just a few dollars here and there. It is what it is. It's not like we're building this company off of it, but it's like that's notable. We appreciate that. We appreciate that you guys just tune in with us every day.
Mm-hmm.
It really feels like it's a group message come to life a lot of times in this chat, and I just hope y'all know that we really do appreciate y'all, man. It's cool hanging out every day.
Tuesdays are a drag, but it wasn't today.
Exactly. Today is there's a lot of pain in this world on Tuesday, but none in this room.
Yeah, that's right. And to echo your point too, Andrew, it's like we do appreciate because we do put in a lot of work. I know some people just think, we just take our pants off, sit in our chair, and turn on the mic, and just I don't know. Hey, what are we gonna talk about today? It's like no, but we all put in a lot of work, whether it's here on the stream, whether it's with our YouTube page, whether it's with InsideArkansas.com and writing articles up there. So yeah, each and every one of you that ride with us and help us out and support the cause, whether it's with super chats or buying BMFP shirts or whatever it is, we do appreciate it in all your support because it's worthwhile, and that's what makes it worthwhile is doing it for y'all and enjoying it and having some fun with y'all too. So look at that. A nice, we started off pissed off. We got to a point where we had some fun and we ended on a very nice note.
That's right. It's easy to come together at the expense of Hugh Freeze.
It's true. Yeah. Thank you, Hugh.
He united us like no other could.
Yeah. Which we'll end on this note. Do you guys happen to know Hugh Freeze's middle name?
No.
I think it's Janus.
His middle name's Hugh. His first name's Danny, though. So
Danny Hugh.
Danny Hugh. Yeah. But I also just wanted to throw out that too, because for some reason, I don't know why, I believed it. Today, I thought his middle name was D'Angelo, because someone told me that once.
Like D'Angelo Vickers?
Yeah, like Hugh D'Angelo Freeze. I'm like, that kind of sounds nice. Sounds a good name. I don't know what a super sticker is. That's a new one, but we appreciate it. High School Mint Julep.
Cool. Thanks.
All the super stuff. Big super fans here on Inside Arkansas, but that'll do it for us.
Tyson lingering in the chat, didn't have anything to drop off, just lingering.
All right.
Step up your game. Yeah. Hey, listen, I'm still working through those Razorback chicken nuggets that you provided there, Tyson. So help us out.
I literally bought some Razorback nuggets like 4 days ago. I haven't gotten into them yet, but they're sitting in my freezer. I might have them for dinner.
There we go. Well, appreciate each and every one of you listening in and watching into Inside Arkansas Live. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page here at Inside Arkansas, and also check out our website for all the greatest and latest up-to-date content when it comes to Razorback sports at InsideArkansas.com. And we will keep it going from there. So for Curtis Wilkerson, as well as Andrew Ellis, I am John Neighbors. Same sports show, same sports channel tomorrow at noon. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. We'll see you then.